is the skill of effective listening. So 90% of all communication is nonverbal. So if you're only listening to words, you're not taking in what's going on with somebody's hands, their feet, their facial expressions. If you are only listening to words, you're missing over half of the communication.
Maybe we think back to the first semester.
What was the last part?
Looking at others' perspectives to try and garner a more holistic understanding of any particular situation.
I have no idea.
In personal relationships, to improve the quality of the relationships between people, my husband and my son. If I understand where my son's coming from or my husband's coming from, I'm more apt to get across what I want to share.
Like, to understand what they're going through, to see what they see.
In a school setting, I think that people learn more effectively when I can hear what they understand, so that I can then share with them what else I want them to understand.
So you can understand them, what they've gone through.
Seek first to understand, then to be understood is learning to truly listen to what somebody's saying when their whole body is communicating. And it's more than that. It's learning to listening to understand what they're saying. This is what I think you're saying. You never really ever fully understand anybody else. But when you practice effective listening and you mirror back, this is what I think you're saying. You're picking up the words and the feelings. Words and the feelings.
Because if you practice that, then you'll have a lot fewer times in life where the communication is as clear as it needs to be.
Makes me not look like an idiot.
So I think it's suggesting that people don't do this. I think that it's suggesting that most of us work to be understood. And so we create a situation where the communication is one way. And really what you're trying to get to is a communication that's interactive. I think that when you're in front of class, it's easy to fall into one-way communication. But it's essential to listen to understand what people are saying. It's part of the reason why I do those close readings is because I can hear in just a minute what it is that people are understanding. And so then I know what I do and don't need to do to help them understand more.
Just have Mrs. O'Toole's class in leadership. That's all you need. The students would probably respect the school a lot more and the teachers and understand a lot like what you need and all that. If you just have Miss O'Toole's class for leadership, I think everyone would probably change.
I have on many occasions where I am one way, you need to understand me, I'm less effective. Sometimes if I'm especially bullheaded about it, then I hit a barrier with my classes, and so it's essential.
I've seen, for example, in some of my classes, a couple of students were discussing something like a TOK, and they're technically saying the same thing, and they're getting extremely heated by presenting the same position, same point of view, differently, just because somebody chose to be heard first and not listen.
Well, we already do it quite fine. I don't see anybody messing or being mean. Like, how many fights have we had a year? One?
I think I've seen it in practice, but I think it's probably something that becomes more prevalent the older you get. Like more mature, some of the more mature students here at North Star seem to practice that, and then I think the rest of them will garner that when they encounter or tackle some more of life's experiences. I've seen some misunderstandings take place as of late. It's like the last couple of days where faculty and some students that were getting ready to take their IB exams had a huge misunderstanding, and quite frankly it was due to this notion that you're talking about, where you seek to understand only after you want somebody to understand your position.
Yes, I think more than other schools that I have been at. I think that in a traditional school setting, there are end-of-course exams. What teachers do is this kind of one-way communication to download the information of these students. And here, I think what we have is a more interactive situation.
If you don't, then you're probably speaking of things that the other person may already agree with, or you might change your opinion about something after you understand something that you didn't know before.
How would you feel if I walked up and you were totally depressed and I started talking about how good my life was?
I actually think people do a better job of listening to people they know and who have beliefs that are similar to their own than to people who are different.
The best salespeople in the world ask questions. They ask questions, and that's how they lead the dialogue. Quite frankly, the person that's selling shouldn't say any more than maybe 10 words in every 10-minute or 10 to 20-minute segment. And the prospective buyer should be the one talking because they're uncovering layers.
I think it would be a great place. I think that we would be in constant dialogue. I think that people would learn more, not only about the content, but about themselves and about their place in relationships with other people and probably the world.
So seek first understand is learning to truly listen to words, to feelings, to mirror, to take in all the communication that's going from here all the way down to your feelings.
What can they do better? Educate themselves. And sometimes that comes in the form of academic courses. Sometimes it just comes in the form of practicing. And in order for that to happen, you have to be conscientious and cognizant of the fact that I'm about to engage in an opportunity here where I can ask to understand first before I ask to be understood.
That basically wraps it up.